I'm sure that most of you know that we can't divide by zero. Dividing by zero has been banned by the Geneva Convention. But why is it that we say that 0 divided by 0 is indeterminate, but something like 1 divided by 0 or any non-zero real number divided by 0 is undefined, and we never say that's indeterminate? What's the difference? Well, first of all, indeterminate is just a special kind of undefined. 0 divided by 0 is undefined, and it is also indeterminate, which is just being a little more specific. 1 divided by 0 is not indeterminate, but it is undefined. So what's the difference? All right, let's say we have this number n that is equal to 1 divided by 0. Okay, so we have this number n, it's 1 divided by 0. All right, well, if we multiply both sides of this equation by 0, we get that 1 is equal to on, or 0n. Now, we know that no real number does this. 0 times any real number is 0, not 1. So you might ask, okay, why can't we just create a new number that has this property? And we could, but it would break the algebraic structure of the real numbers. It would no longer be a ring. The distributive property would no longer be satisfied. So that's not a good thing to do. So there's no possible choice of a number that can be equal to 1 divided by 0. On the other hand, let's say that we have a number n that's equal to 0 divided by 0. All right, proceeding as before, we will multiply both sides by 0, and we get that 0 equals 0n. Now we have the opposite problem. Every real number must satisfy this. 0 times any real number is 0. So this is indeterminate because we cannot select any value for this expression, 0 divided by 0, because it can be anything. That's what indeterminate means. It's left undefined because there's no obvious choice for what 0 divided by 0 should be. Now, in some distinct fields, there may be a choice made, but generally speaking, we leave 0 divided by 0 undefined because it is indeterminate for this reason. On the other hand, 1 divided by 0 ain't no damn choice we can make that's gonna make sense. So we leave that simply undefined. Let's look at an example where 0 divided by 0 pops up and see how this represents an indeterminate sort of thing. Here's the function f of x equals the absolute value of x, plotted on this xy plane here. Now I ask, what is the derivative of the absolute value of x? Well, the absolute value of x can be written as the square root of x squared, which is of course x squared to the 1/2 power. So if we take the derivative, we are going to use the power rule, and then the chain rule, and then the this rule, and the that rule, so that we have this. So we get 1/2 times x squared to the minus 1/2 times 2x. And if we clean this up, we get x divided by the square root of x squared, which is x divided by the absolute value of x. So the derivative of the absolute value of x is x divided by the absolute value of x. So you can see that the derivative of the absolute value of x at 0 is going to be undefined, and not only that, it will be indeterminate. Why is it indeterminate? Well, if we tried to draw a tangent line at this point, it's possible to do it, but there's no unique tangent line. There's many choices. So the derivative of the absolute value function at 0 is undefined, and in particular, it is indeterminate because we cannot choose a value here. There are many different tangent lines we could draw here. So that's the idea here. Indeterminate versus undefined. Indeterminate is a special case of undefined where we essentially don't have a specific enough idea. We can't choose a value for it, so we leave it undefined. Now, in some cases, in some fields, indeterminate values are chosen. We may define, for example, 0 to the 0th power to be 1 in one subject just for convenience, even though that is normally indeterminate. All right, but that's going to do it for this quick little video. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.